It's review time again. Today we have the Moxee Tablet 2. Now you can find this at Metro by T-Mobile. It's actually one of their newer tablets that they released. But I will say that it is a lower end tablet, and you're going to find that out in a moment. So that being said, let's hop right into this review. Now, I already did the liberty of setting up the tablet, putting some applications on there that we're going to test today, and that's pretty much it. Now, first things first, let's hop right into it. I don't really see the point of wasting time. This does have a plastic film that comes over it when you do purchase it, and it doesn't come inside of this little film right here, but I already did the liberty of taking that out. So let's put that to the side for now. What we also have is the actual charger, USB. Actually, it's funny that I said that. Everything should be in here. Here we are. So the brick is right here, and the actual USB-A to USB-C is right here inside the box. No need for me to take that out. I literally have 500 billion of those cords at home, and it's unnecessary for video purposes. Just wanted to show you what comes inside of it. Now, the most important part that we're going to talk about right now are specifications. Just so you know, this is a 8-inch HD screen tablet. Now, even though it says HD, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It looks very washed out and very cheap. Just looking at this tablet, the screen, it's definitely, I do put on the same line of the Alcatel Tab 2. I believe that's what it was called, Joy Tab 2. Though this screen might look a tad bit cheaper than that one, and that's saying something. It does have built-in 4G LTE. You're getting 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs internally memory, so you're not getting that much memory, for being honest. Let me go ahead and see how much we're actually getting this usable to this thing. Can't even tell you the exact usable amount, but it's like 20-something gigabytes or so that you get to use. So unfortunately, I already downloaded applications on it, so I can't tell you the exact amount, but it's not much. Most phones are probably between 128, which is the standard at this point. And a game like Call of Duty Mobile takes literally 16 gigs to download, which we'll check right now. I already have it downloaded on this tablet, and we'll do a test on that in a little bit. But you have 2 5-megapixel cameras. So you have this guy in the back, which is a 1 camera and a flash, and then you have a 5-megapixel on the front. There's nothing special about these cameras. To be completely honest with you, if you're using it, you're going to definitely notice that it's not the worst camera in the world. Believe it or not, it's actually clearer than a lot of them out there. The front camera is pretty mediocre, if we're being honest, but it is good enough for video calls, and the back camera is good enough for video calls if you choose to use it that way. Let's go ahead to the video. Let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. If we go to the settings, looks like it does, like I said, 1080p video. That's the highest that it goes in HD. I will say, and I'll give it this, that the quality of the video does seem to be a tad bit better than a lot of the lower end tablet cameras in its price range. Now, price, totally forgot to talk about that. We'll talk about specs and then I'll talk about price. Qualcomm Snapdragon SM6225. So if we compare that to the Alcatel Joy Tab 2, which is being sold under Metro by T-Mobile, technically on paper, this is a better processor and does run smoother. Though it does have 3 gigs of RAM, which we talked about, which the other tablets have 4. This one should have definitely have 4 gigs at least minimum, but it does still have, I'm not going to say it's the smoothest interface in the world because it isn't, but it is good enough for everyday users of web browsing. I do a lot of manga reading on this thing, manhwas, things like that. Anime, Netflix, Crunchyroll, it does well with the basics, but that's about it. In addition to that, the screen, I gotta be honest with you, feels a little iffy at times because it's just a cheap screen. So if you're in Google and you're just swiping back and forth, what I did notice is that it just felt very, very sluggish as I do that. It doesn't feel very fast at all. It's like you have to swipe harder and faster in order for it to go down, the page to go down smoothly. But if you swipe slowly like so, you could tell it's bit by bit, and you saw a little bit of lag there. So it's not the best tablet, far from it. And to be honest, the phone that you're probably going to be using currently is better than a tablet, especially if you're a Metro by T-Mobile user. But this is good for someone that just wants to do a quick web browse, a quick game here and there, Candy Crush, things like that. Otherwise, it's not that great of a tablet. In addition to that, you have a 4300 mAh battery, and it does ship with Android 12. Also, like I said, USB-C on the bottom, right here. Let's see if I get a good picture of that. There we go. Have your little, I believe that are the firing speakers on the bottom. Right here, you have the headphone jack. So it does have a headphone jack for those that are interested in using one. It doesn't say anything necessarily about an IP rating. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's no IP rating on this. And you shouldn't take this to the pool. You shouldn't take this anywhere that involves water, because anything can get splashed, but it's another thing when it gets drenched. Oh, also comes with this inside of the actual box. So that's also something to think about. So with that being said, that's the unboxing, that's the specs. What I'm going to go ahead and do next is show you a little bit of productivity. Okay, so right here, let's do some productivity. I'm going to go ahead and unlock this phone right here. I said phone, tablet. And we're going to go to Canva. So the first thing that I always do on most tablets is to use a couple basic features, be it Microsoft Office or whatever it is that every everyday person uses, email, things like that. But I don't want my personal emails popping up. So right here, if you go to presentation, we're going to show you how things are done in Canva and how fast or slow this is actually moving. So you're seeing in real time. And what I noticed is that there are some actual smartphones out there that don't even move as fast as this, believe it or not, in the mid-tier market. It's not horrible in terms of just the ability to be able to edit different things right here. So if I go ahead and tap this right here, and we're going to go ahead and bring Canva in here, the touch does work very well. Like I said, I make thumbnails and different things for my YouTube page and whatnot. So I'm just showing you that, in fact, it does actually work very, very well. In addition to that, you need to make sure that your internet connection works pretty good too. Otherwise, you'll have problems actually loading the pages up. So if you're in a bad connection area, Canva's not going to work that well for you. Let's just say hello or something. There we go. And sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second, guys. So yeah, Canva does work very well on this tablet. Now, out of the Alcatel Joy Tab 2 and out of the Samsung, I think it was called I forget what the Samsung, the A8, whatever it was called, Lite. Forget what it was called under Metro by T-Mobile. Surprisingly, this guy right here actually runs very, very well. So well, in fact, that I would be willing to use this as a tablet just to do like edits of thumbnails and things like that. Now, obviously, for maximum productivity, you do want a higher end tablet, especially if you plan on using it as a primary device. But personally, because if you use YouTube or YouTube Studio, those things are attached by email account. So I'm able to just sign into my email, go to YouTube Studio or regular YouTube and just do my edits. Well, more so YouTube Studio to do all my edits on particular thumbnails and descriptions and just everything that needs to be done. And this does complement that. The unfortunate part is that this does not in any way, shape, or form have 5G. So again, you're using the LTE network, which still runs very, very fast. And again, this tablet is dirt cheap. I don't think I told you the price I paid for this, but I'll do that toward the end of the video so that everyone will know exactly how much it costs for adding a line, which is what you have to do under Metro. You can't get it by itself as a standalone device. You have to have a phone line already created in order to get a tablet line for extra $15 to $20 a month, depending on if you want the HD plan or the basic, like I think it's 480 or 720 plan. I forget. But anyway, that's this section. What we're going to do next is go ahead and hop on to how gaming works on this. All right, so there's an unfortunate side effect that these type of tablets have that are very small. And that side effect is, it's not what you think it is. It's the internal storage is what I mean by that. Because of this processor and because of the internal storage, Call of Duty Mobile is literally 16 gigs plus on this phone. And it's, on any device, and it's only going to keep increasing. I don't know how big it is on Apple because things are optimized differently. But other than that, it does work. It works. I wouldn't say it works well. Obviously, if you're using a higher end phone, it's going to load a whole lot faster than this. I can't stress enough how much faster it will load if you're using an iPhone or a Galaxy phone or a OnePlus, anything that just has a newer processor and at least a minimum of 6 gigs of RAM. This is going to run a whole lot faster and it would have loaded by now. But being a tablet, as long as you're patient, it will run eventually, and you can see how long it actually takes for this to load up. Very, very long time. It has a strong network strength at this point. Had a little phone call there that cut off the video, so do apologize for that, but the application did finally load. And as you can see right here, this is Call of Duty Mobile. Oh, I got the character, cool. And it runs fairly decent. Now, if we go to the settings, this tablet cannot and will not play this game at a higher setting. So if you go to graphics, I put the frame rate low. It does have the option between very high. I don't know why it even gives that option when this can't even handle it. But we're going to go ahead and go to multiplayer, and I'm going to show you how a game actually runs. So you saw a little lag there. It's not fast. It's not fast at all. Granted, there are some phones out there that run worse than this, believe it or not. But most people that buy these type of tablets aren't here to play Call of Duty. You're more so using it for other reasons. So right here, so you can see the lag, definitely see the lag here. The touch isn't nearly as responsive as it should be. Or if I tap it, it didn't, it has this, I can't even say laggy moments. It's a large portion of this tablet is in fact laggy. So if you're trying to play Call of Duty Mobile, let me be the first to tell you that it is absolutely possible to play on this tablet. The problem is that the touch just really isn't that responsive. If we're being completely honest here, it's not very responsive at all, as you can see. But it is possible. So if you were to play a full game, if you had a child that wanted to play certain Android games, you can. But what I will say is that it's just not going to work very well over time. It's slow, it's laggy, it's jumpy. The graphics a little to be honest with you. But as you can see, it does in fact work. But other games such as Diablo Immortal, I have tried that. It did work for this tablet. The problem is that a lot of these games take up so much internal space that it's practically impossible to hold them all. So you have to actually determine which ones you're willing to sacrifice in order to play with this tablet. Otherwise, you have to delete one and then install the other. And unfortunately, you're not able to just install the whole game to a SD card. It doesn't work with this. Like, the data still goes into the tablet itself. So please do be aware of that if you decide to purchase this tablet. All right, so you saw productivity. You saw how it ran playing Call of Duty. So it did run well enough to be able to play. But because of that cheap touch-filling display, sometimes I notice that when you're aiming or you're trying to shoot or something like that in the game, it just isn't very smooth. But if you're playing something else like a Diablo or Candy Crush or something else, you shouldn't have problems with the tablet. But please just be aware that it does not have a lot of internal memory. So there's that. Price wise. Now, the thing is, when I went online, I did see different prices. Personally, that cost me $25 to get it out of the store, which I think included the activation. Basically, because Metro by T-Mobile has been charging application fees, activation fees again in their stores. So I'm not sure if all of them are doing it, if that's a corporate thing or that's a third-party thing for these privately owned metros, but that's what they're doing again. Or you know what? Now I think about it, they might have put that insurance on there. So also, if you go to a Metro by T-Mobile and they tell you insurance is $10 on this tablet, let me be the first to tell you that they're absolutely lying. It's a situation where they're adding other features onto the tablet so that they can get their MRC or MRP, whatever it is, up. I forget what it's called, but it's like this little thing where they get more sales the higher their commission payment is going to be. This is not a bad tablet. So you can walk out under $30 with a brand new tablet in the store. Again, the camera is good enough for FaceTime call. Well, not FaceTime, but Google Duo calls. It's good enough for that. It does its job. And to be honest, when you use these type of tablets, you're not out here trying to do crazy photography with these types of things. You're using it for, a plethora of reasons. For me, like I said, I use it for viewing comic books and things while I'm in bed, and sometimes Netflix or Hulu or Crunchyroll, only because I don't want to use my phone for everything. If we're talking about Canva, like we talked about for productivity, it's not bad. It's not good. It's just, I might even say it's average. It's below average in terms of speeds. Because if you've used a higher end phone, then you already know that how smoothly a better phone will run. But what I will say is that it's not horrible for someone that just needs something to do some type of productivity. Obviously, you can still run a YouTube channel, which means uploading videos and doing thumbnails and things from this. But remember, it is only 32 gigs, and more likely you would need an SD card inside of it. So what I say is this is worth purchasing. Yes, in my opinion, this runs better than the Alcatel Tab 2. Joy Tab 2, I believe that's what it's called. To me, it runs much better than that. Though the Joy Tab does seem to be a tad bit thinner. This is a little bit thicker and heavier. It does have less RAM. So theoretically, you would say, well, wouldn't the other one be better with 4 gigs of RAM? Yes, but remember, this has a better processor. In the benchmark scores, it did score higher than the Alcatel Joy Tab 2, which has been out for quite some time. So naturally, I would expect a tablet to have better specifications than an older tablet. if we're talking about just, again, washed out colors, things like that, it's going to feel and look cheap. I'm just going to be honest with you. Even this box right here looks like something that you find in those third-party stores where they just sell cell phones unlocked from other, and you can take it out of the country or whatever you want to do with it. It looks cheap. It feels cheap. It is cheap. For whatever reason, I don't understand why they don't just release an iPad under Metro by T-Mobile, let people pay the regular iPad price. People will do that. They will love to do that. I would do that. But I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a sister company. They don't want it to elevate over T-Mobile. With that being said, it's not a bad tablet. Is this a replacement to the Alcatel Joy Tab 2? If you already have one, then I don't see the point of upgrading. But if you don't have a tablet and you're looking for something cheap for a kid or just checking emails or things like that, this works perfectly fine. In that aspect, you can't go wrong with that. And worst case, if you don't like it, you're paying 20-something bucks to get out of the store. If you decide after 30 days or hell, even after 2 weeks, that you don't want to cut it off, you have the option to do that, and you can just re-gift it and give it to somebody else. It's really up to you. And again, their plans start at $15 a month. I think one is 15, one is 20, or one is 15, one is 25. I forget. But the $15 plan is the one that I currently have. I know that for a fact. And it gives you access to unlimited data similar to a phone. So with that being said, I'll let you guys be the judge. But anywho, like and subscribe, like I said at the beginning of the video, and I will see y'all in the next one.